Hello, welcome to this yoga practice. My name is Sarah Dobson with Penn Foundation. I'm the director of the REACH Psychiatric Rehabilitation Program, and I also facilitate trauma-informed yoga at Penn Foundation. So in this practice today, we're going to have a brief 20 to 30 minute practice where we will engage in some yoga forms that support balancing of the nervous system, support a feeling of groundedness, and give us the opportunity to really feel embodied and present in our experience. So you don't need any special equipment. If you have a yoga mat, you can roll that out. Even a towel or a beach blanket will work. If you have any props that you might like to use, you're welcome to bring those in, whether it might be a yoga block or a cushion or a rolled up blanket, anything to help support your practice and make you feel comfortable. So we're going to just start seated, and you can also practice in a chair too. These can be modified for the chair, and the individual forms can also be kind of extracted out and applied to your daily experience. So some of the forms you might even just kind of practice throughout the flow of your day. And of course, they can be practiced as a whole, a whole practice sequence as we're going to do today. So starting in a comfortable seated position, whether that be crossed legs or extending the legs out, or maybe even sitting back on the heels, bring a little length into your spine. Let the shoulders roll down and away from the ears. Maybe closing the eyes gently if that feels comfortable for you. If you'd rather keep the eyes open, that's fine too. You can just take your gaze out and past the tip of your nose. And just inviting yourself into this space of practice. So as you start to settle in and increase your awareness of yourself sitting here on this mat in this practice, just allowing yourself the opportunity to be here for you. So we spend our time caring for the individuals we support. We spend our time taking care of all of the tasks of the day that need to get done. And so this is really about you and supporting yourself. And so as much as you can, kind of setting that weight down for the duration of this practice so that you can really invite yourself to be here as fully as possible. So taking some noticing breaths, not needing to change the breath in any way, simply bringing the awareness to your breath, following that inhale and exhale in whatever way it's showing up for you here. Maybe noticing the qualities of the breath, noticing how it feels most comfortable to breathe. So certainly you can breathe in and out through the nose, but you can take breaths in and out through the mouth if that helps you really connect with your breath. And bring a little bit of softness and ease to the mask of the face, softening behind the eyes, softening the jaw, softening that space between the eyebrows, letting yourself be here. And then maybe from here, just starting to lengthen the exhale so that we can really tap into that parasympathetic nervous system and really start to kind of slow ourselves down. So just making that exhale a little bit longer than the inhale. Maybe even a couple of exhales through the mouth if that is helpful for you. And then from here, if the eyes are closed, gently blinking them open, and we'll start to integrate breath and movement throughout the duration of the practice. And we'll start to do that by coming through some seated sun breaths. So as much as possible, I'm going to introduce option to each of the yoga forms that we engage in. And you always have choice when you come to your practice. So you can choose the variation that works for you. You can choose to opt out of a particular form. You can choose to just come back and sit with your breath or come into something like child's form if that's something you feel supportive for you. So please, feel free to exercise choice as we move through this practice and do what works best for you. So in the seated sun breath, we have a few variations we can choose from. So one is to start with the hands on the knees and the elbows stay close to the body, and inhale to bring the hands up to about chest level, exhale back down. So it's kind of a fluid movement. Another option is to have the palms pressed together at heart center. Inhale, sweep the arms out wide, energizing through the fingertips, and then exhale to pull it back into the heart. And the third option, taking hands to your sides, fingertips down. Inhale, flip the palms, sweep the arms up overhead. And then exhale, flip the palms back down. So whichever of those options works best for you, we'll go for about 30 seconds. And you start to lead the way here with the movement. So your breath sets the pace for the movement. So inhale to reach up or out. Exhale to come back down or back to where you started. And the eyes, again, can be open or closed here, whatever helps you feel most connected with your body and your experience. Or again, just soft gaze out and past the tip of your nose if the eyes are open. Let's do maybe two more. Seeing if you can really bring your awareness to the sensation of the movement, sensation of the breath as it continues to flow. And then coming back to center, we'll take hands to knees here and we'll come through some seated hip circles. So just start moving in a circle. And again, breath sets the pace here. So maybe you inhale as you start your circle and you exhale as you come around to finish your circle. Or maybe the breath feels deep enough that you can take an inhale with a full rotation and exhale with the next. Again, whatever works for you is great. A couple more times around this way, just getting the spine moving here. Eyes open or closed as you choose. And then going the other way. And then come on back to center here. We're just going to take a seated lateral stretch, and then we're going to start to move onto hands and knees. So we are going to do some kneeling practice. We're going to do a little bit of standing practice, and then we'll bring it down into a yoga rest. So here, just a little lateral stretch. So we're going to start with the right hand down, fingertips to the floor. We're going to inhale, the left arm reaches up, and then exhale, reach to your right. So a few options here. You can keep the fingertips on the floor, place the palm flat. You can also even come down to your elbow, to your forearm, if that's comfortable. The gaze can be down at that bottom hand, or the gaze can be up under that lifted arm. And you might even choose to kind of press into the bottom hand a little bit more actively to facilitate the stretch through the whole side of the body. Up to you. So you really get to choose whether your practice is really soft and easeful, or whether it's a little bit more engaged and dynamic. The good thing about yoga is there's no wrong way. Whatever works for you. It's really your personal practice. And then we're going to inhale to come on up and then move to the other side. So the left hand comes down, the right arm reaches up on an inhale, exhale, reach it over. So that left elbow is bent. You can come down to the forearm if that's comfortable for you. You can press into that bottom hand, and again, gaze can go to that bottom hand or up under the lifted arm. Just taking care that if the gaze up under the lifted arm creates any tension in the neck or shoulder, that you just maybe take the gaze down. We'll be here for 2 and 1. And then inhale, come on up, back to center. We're going to do a seated twist before we come onto hands and knees here. So we're going to take the left hand to the right knee. The right hand's going to come behind and act as a support for the spine. And just a gentle twist to your right. So long spine, crown of the head lifting upward as if you had a little balloon tied to the top of your head, just gently guiding you up. Shoulders soft and back. One more breath here. And then we'll inhale to come through center, exhale right through to the other side. So right hand to left knee, left arm behind. Breathing here in this twist for 2 and 1. And then back to center here. From here, we're going to come into tabletop form. So if you're on a mat or a floor-like surface, you can come into tabletop here. So tabletop is hands and knees, and we're going to take the wrists about under the shoulders the knees about under the hips. If you're seated, feet will come flat to the floor and the spine will be long. And if you're on the mat and you just would like to have a little bit more stability, you can take those hands and knees a little bit wider. So we're just going to start here with a little cat and cow flow. So we're going to inhale to drop the belly, lift the head into our cow, and then exhale, drop the chin and round the spine into our cat. So this is flexion and extension of the spine. So inhale, drop the belly, look up, and then exhale, round. You can keep a little dynamic downward pressure into the mat or the floor with the hands, just to add a little bit more support as you move through this. Or again, you can just keep it a little softer. And let's go for 2 more. So you don't have to go to full range. You can go to the range that feels comfortable for you. And that's different on every day. Some days it feels nice to really extend to that full range, and other days it feels better just to keep it a little bit more gentle. So last one here, we'll inhale into our cow, exhale into our cat, and then we'll return to center. So long spine into table form, back of the neck is long. From here, we're going to come down to forearms. And you can make little number 11s with the hands or clasp the hands together so that you have a more triangular shape for support. And we're just going to work with the lower half of the body. So we're going to work with the legs here. We're going to stretch the right leg back long, toes curled under, heel lifted. And you can press into that back foot with as much or as little effort as you would like. So long spine here, length drawing from the back heel all the way through the crown of the head. Again, maybe a little bit of downward movement into those forearms for stability. Shoulder blades are almost moving a little bit apart. They're widening. Soft breath here, soften through the face. Always coming back to the breath as an anchor. So when you find that that mind just starts to spin off, thinking about whatever else is going on, just when you have that moment of awareness, come back and take the next breath. And then we're going to switch it up. So right leg comes to center, left leg comes back. Same thing on this side. Toes curled under, heel lifted. To start, you can always press more actively or less actively into that back foot to facilitate the stretch. And for here will be 2 more. And last one. Beautiful. Left knee comes to center. We're going to repeat that and I'll give you a variation. So right leg's going to come back. You can stay here just as we were last round, or this time you can lift the leg and point through the toes and take an extension of the leg. So we're here for 2. And we're here for 1. And then right knee comes back to center. Left leg, back. Toes can stay on the floor or lift and point wherever you are for 3. And 2, nice fluid breath. And 1. And then left knee comes up to meet right. We're going to come back into table form here. So again, knees under hips, wrists under shoulders, or a little bit wider for stability. And we're going to do a little kneeling balance here. So we're going to start with the right leg back again, just like we had. This time the left arm extends forward. Just going to slide over a little bit here. Left arm extends forward. So downward into this right palm. So we kind of press down to lift up to really support ourselves here. And we're reaching actively through the left fingertips. Back of the neck is long. You can stay right here, or you can gently lift that back foot to come into a kneeling balance. So we're working a little strength and stability here. Breathe for 2. And 1. You can always put that foot down. And then back to center. And then other side. Left leg comes back. Right arm extends, pressing down and through that bottom hand for support. Back foot can stay on the floor or lift off. We're here for 3. And 2. And 1. Beautiful. Back down to table form. We're going to sit back here into child's form. So we're going to touch the big toes together. You can take the knees as wide as you prefer. And we're going to start to sit the hips back toward the heels. And then you might walk the hands all the way out and put the head down on the floor or close to the floor. You might stack the hands or the fists to make a little pillow for the head. Again, if you have a prop like a block or a cushion or a blanket, you can always place that under the head as well for support, just to allow the neck to soften. Then we breathe here. So when we're in these more static forms, the mind sometimes likes to take off. So just bring it back. Keep breathing. Bring the awareness back to the sensation of the body. So maybe noticing the sensation of breath through the back face of the body here, the expansion of the lungs and the ribs through the back of the body. And we'll be here for just a couple more breaths. If this is a form that you find to be restful, you're welcome to stay here as long as you want. You can always pause the video. You can always just come here anytime. But for now, we're going to come out. So on your next inhale, you're just going to start to come up back into table form. And then from here, we're going to come up to stand. So in whatever way works for you to come up to standing on your mat, take your time. It's a little bit challenging with the quality of the video to be all in view, so I apologize for that, but we'll work with it. So here in this standing mountain form, we're just going to practice a very brief standing series. So just as we started when we were seated, feet are directly under the hips, and we're in the standing mountain form. So shoulders soften down and away, fingertips energize down toward the floor, or maybe you bring palms to center. And we breathe here. So see if you can shift the weight, maybe side to side, front to back on the feet. Breathe here. And then we're just going to come through a little standing half sun salutation. So we're just going to do this 3 times. So I'm going to turn to the side so that you can see more clearly what we're doing here. So from our standing mountain form, we're going to inhale, reach the arms up overhead. We're going to exhale, fold in. We're going to inhale, come into a flat back, so the hands come to the shins and we lengthen the spine. And then exhale, bend the knees and fold again. On the inhale, we're going to press into the feet, come all the way up. Maybe the arms reach overhead. And then exhale, return to your standing mountain form. Take a breath in and out. And we're going to do that again. Inhale, reach up. Bend the knees, exhale, fold in. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold all the way in. Inhale, press into the feet, come all the way up. Exhale, come on back to center. Breath in and out. And then last time, inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, bend the knees and fold. Maybe the hands come to the floor, maybe they don't, it does not matter. Inhale, come halfway up, long spine. Exhale, fold all the way in, maybe dropping the head. Inhale, come all the way up. Reach the arms and exhale, come back to center. Pause here, breathe in and out. And then from here, we're going to come into an extended forward fold. So we're going to bend the knees, come into a fold here. We're going to come into something called ragdoll. So maybe the hands come to the floor. Maybe the hands don't come to the floor again. It does not matter. You can just let the arms hang here. Another option is to hold hand to elbow, hand to elbow. You can put as much bend in the knees as you like here. And then just let the head drop down. You can shake the head no, shake the head yes. Soften the neck, soften the shoulders, let everything start to feel heavy. You might even slightly shift a little bit of your weight forward into the balls of the feet. Breathing here for 2. You can even shake a little bit side to side, like rock back and forth. and 1. And then from here, let the arms go. And on your next inhale, you're just going to put some bend in the knees, press into the feet, and just unroll yourself all the way up. Take your time, nice and slow. Until you're back at standing mountain form. And then we're going to come to sit. We're going to come into a seated fold. So we just did a standing fold. We're going to repeat that same exact form, but we're just going to do it from our seat. So if standing practice is not in your practice, this is a great option to just repeat. So a couple of options. Feet can come kind of directly out straight from the hips, or if you prefer, you can take a wide-legged forward fold. I'm going to opt for that here. If you've got any discomfort in the low back, you can put a little bit of bend in the knees and press into the heels. And then just give yourself, put the hands down behind you, give yourself a little lift and set back down so that you're supported on those sitting bones so that the spine can be long and tall. Take a moment, be here. And then on the inhale, we're going to lengthen. And on the exhale, we're going to start to fold. So just walking yourself forward as far as is comfortable for you. So often I like to just kind of move into the sensation of stretch when I feel kind of a natural resistance from the body. I stay and I breathe. So it's not, again, going as far as you possibly can. Sometimes it's just about moving into the sensation. So see where you can find some space. Maybe it's space for the breath. Maybe it's space for the body, maybe meaning you move a little further into the stretch. Maybe it's space in the mind. So on the inhale, we lengthen or we create space. And on the exhale, we soften. So we'll be here for 2 more. And 1. And then on the inhale, come on up. If you have the legs wide, bring them back to center. We're going to do a little seated tree, and then we're going to come down for yoga rest. So we're going to leave the right leg extended. We're going to bring the left foot against the inner upper right leg. So we've created this little figure 4 shape with the legs. And the right toes all point up at the ceiling, so the foot is flexed. Again, it's a fold. So we're going to inhale, reach the arms, and then exhale, fold in. So the hands can come to the floor. The hands can come to the leg. If it's in your practice, you can take the hands to the foot. Doesn't matter. And then we'll inhale to lengthen. And exhale, bend those elbows and soften. So again, creating space, creating ease, being soft. We'll be here for 2. And we'll be here for 1. And then we'll come on up on your inhale. And then we'll switch sides. So left leg extends out, right foot comes against inner upper leg. Toes point up toward the ceiling. On the inhale, we reach up. And on the exhale, we fold. So again, hands to floor, hands to leg, hands to foot, whatever works, all of it's good. I'm going to keep my hands on the floor on this one. So we're going to inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, bend the elbows, soften in. Maybe again, closing the eyes here, just taking a downward gaze. And we'll be here for 2. And 1. And then on your inhale, come on up. Both legs again out. You can give the legs a little shake. And then we're just going to come to about midline on the mat. And we're going to prepare to come down for yoga rest, toward yoga rest. We're going to do a little sequence before we get there. So long spine, sitting up nice and tall, toes point up at the ceiling. Find your inhale. Maybe reaching the arms, and then as you exhale, nice and slow, start to just come on down onto your back. And then maybe reaching the arms overhead, pointing the toes away as you come all the way down onto the floor. Big stretch here. And exhale, hands come down at your sides. Be here just for a moment. Let the weight of the body start to be supported by the floor. And then we're going to leave that left leg extended. We're going to hug the right knee in. And if this creates any discomfort, you can bend the knee and put the foot flat on the floor on the left side. I'm going to stay there for this. So the right knee is hugging in. You can hug the knee in with as much or as little effort as you'd like. You can also create a little bit of movement here. So you might just gently rock that knee in and out. And then we're going to extend that right leg up and then interlace the fingers, hold on to the back of the leg for support. And let the weight of the leg start to be supported by the hands. And then a little bit of movement here with the breath. So we're going to inhale to point through the toes, exhale to flex through the heel. Inhale, point, exhale, flex. One more, inhale, point, exhale, flex. And then from here, you might hug that leg in a little bit closer to you. You can even walk the hands up the leg a little bit if you'd like to try that. And then nice and slow, release the leg and let's start to let that leg come all the way down. And then both feet are out. Again, take a breath in and out here. Maybe notice a difference from side to side. And then from here, we'll start to hug that left leg in. Maybe you put the right foot on the floor or the leg can stay extended. It's really your preference. Hugging that left leg in with as much or as little effort as you would like. Maybe again, creating that movement in and out. And then we're going to inhale, straighten that leg up. Interlace the fingers, hold on to the back of the leg. Let the weight of the leg be supported by the hands here. Breathe. And then we're going to inhale, point through the toes. Exhale, flex through the heel. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. One more. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. And then again, if you want to walk the hands up the leg a little bit or just hug the leg in a little bit closer for one last little stretch here, you can do that. And then exhale, let the leg go. Let that leg come down nice and slow. So both legs extend out here. One more last little movement before yoga rest. We're going to come into a recline twist. So we're once again going to hug both of those legs in. Knees bent, hugging the legs into the chest. And then you can rock a little bit from side to side here. And then coming into a recline twist, we're going to keep knees and ankles close together. We're going to start to drop the legs out to the right. So as you drop the legs out to the right, we can extend the left arm, take the gaze out over the left hand with the eyes open or closed. With each exhale, soften in just a little bit more. You can take your right hand to the top of your left leg just for a little bit more weight and support on those legs if you'd like. Or if this creates some discomfort, sometimes I even like to use my right hand just to kind of hang on to the outside of my right leg so that the knees aren't coming all the way down to the floor or toward the floor if that creates any discomfort. One more breath here. And then inhale back through center. And then right through to the other side. So knees come out to the left, right arm extends out to the side. Take some nice, easy breaths in and out here. That left hand can be on top of the right leg for a little bit of weight or under the left leg for a little bit of support. And here for 2. And 1. And then back to center here. One last little hug in of the legs. And then start to come toward your yoga rest. So a few options for yoga rest. The feet can come to the floor with the feet as wide as your mat. And then the knees can fall in toward one another, touching for support, almost like a little pyramid. You can extend your legs all the way out, heels find the corners of the mat, and the arms rest across you or at your sides. This is a great place for a blanket if you've got a blanket nearby to use. Maybe a little shake of the head, side to side, just to kind of find a little balanced place on the head to start to rest. And if you prefer to take a seated rest, in this similar form as where we started with crossed legs or something to that effect, that is absolutely fine as well. I highly recommend not skipping the rest form. Some people, especially when we lead busy lives, want to kind of come through the physical practice and then skip rest. But really, rest is so important. This purposeful yoga rest where we're just allowing our bodies to just be at ease and space and really kind of letting the practice culminate into this rest form. So if you've got the time to really honor this form of rest, I highly encourage. So letting everything start to settle, just inviting the whole body to start to be supported by the floor. The breath starts to settle. The mind starts to settle. So we're not trying to make anything any certain way. Just breathing here. So I will leave us off here in rest. You may stay here as long as you wish. Maybe doing a little body scan starting at the feet and just bringing your awareness to the whole body in sequence from the feet all the way up to the head and just softening each of those places you bring your awareness, or just lying in stillness, listening to the soft flow of the breath. I want to thank you so much for joining and participating in this practice today. I hope that you found it helpful, and we will end by honoring the light that exists within each and every one of us by saying namaste. So feel free to stay here, or as you're ready, softly and gently starting to sit up. Take a moment to honor yourself for coming to this practice today and taking this time to really care for yourself first. Thank you again. Have a great day.